we're not Gen Z.
No. We're straight up millennials.
We're millennials. Can't you tell by Tara's side part?
Yeah.
Okay? Like,
we got a really deep side part. She's always been there.
Not to
call me out like this. Hi everyone, welcome back to Off to Broadway, the podcast where we deep dive into anything and everything musical theater. I'm Tara.
I'm Stefania.
And in today's episode, we're talking about a new Canadian musical, Tell Tale Harbour, featuring none other than Alan Doyle.
This mug right here on the program. Yeah.
You know, I think having, like, your main, I was going to say character, but your main actor who's also, like, well, we'll talk about him as we go through, a well-known
Local
musician
celeb
on the front of your playbill, like, maybe sounded like a good idea in the room putting together the artwork for this, but, like, I don't know that we need this gigantic picture of Alan Doyle everywhere. He's already on every banner that you see on a lamppost in the streets of Toronto.
Honestly, I understand it on the lampposts and on the posters outside the theater. I don't know if it needs to be the program as well. Like, if I have the program, I'm already there.
I'm already here.
I'm here.
Yes.
I know what's happening. And I know it's like for social media, for what people are sharing, but still, if I have the program in my hand, maybe tell me a little bit more about what the musical is going on with the poster, with the graphic here. But
Sorry,
you know
Alan
what?
Doyle.
Here we are.
This was our second Mervis show of the season. We saw MJ first, and then, you know, this was the second, and then our next one is coming up next week for off Mervis season. Next week, the week after? I think it must be next week, because you're leaving soon. And I will say, right off the bat, before we, you know, get into this, I walked in with very low expectations for this musical.
100%.
And that has, like, nothing to do with, you know, Alan Doyle as a person. I've said on previous episodes, a lovely man. I've met him many times. It's just, like, I don't know. I find it really hard when musicals kind of like this style these days are compared to Come From Away, which to me is, like, such a be-all, end-all Canadian musical and has, like, surpassed Canada. There was an article, don't quote me, but I think there's like 50 productions of like Come From Away playing like across North America right now. There's like a crazy amount of like people that are seeing Come From Away. So anytime it's like the next Come From Away, I'm just like, it's never going to be that. It's not going to be as good.
Come From Away.
And it isn't that. However, I had a lovely time at this musical.
This was nice. It was cute.
Really, really enjoyed it. Even to the point that the day before, were like, oh, should we kind of just do like a joint episode here on like what we've seen, and we waited until we saw this, and after we saw this I was like, we can do a full episode on Tell Tale Harbour. Like, I have less to say. So I don't know, do you feel the same way?
What I felt going in, again, I was just like, okay, sure, an original Canadian musical set on the East Coast, we're gonna hear some banjo, we're gonna hear,
and we did,
and there was banjo, we're gonna hear some fiddle. And, you know, and it's going to be fine. And I'll leave and I won't think too much about it when I leave. That was kind of my expectation of it. But as it went on, I was caught off guard by the sweetness of the story. The kind of almost, we've been talking about the tribute it plays to musicals, how much it, like, loves being a musical. And just the characterizations, the town, the people. It was a sweet show. It was just a nice, sweet, fun, enjoyable time at the theater. And like, I think it's like a worthy thing to see, and I think I'd recommend it to people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I also want to shout out, this was at the Royal Alex, and I don't know that we've ever sat first row mezzanine, but what a seat. Like,
first row dress circle. First row dress circle.
Which is the same as mezzanine, I guess. We just don't call it mezzanine here. We call it dress circle. Because
whatever. Well, it's fancy.
Yes. That's like a perfect seat. I know that that's like a premium price.
We were like dead center
like,
too, so it was really good.
It was so good. But like sometimes, you know, we find ourselves in a lot of theaters across the country, across Ontario, but in the States and everywhere. And I'm always afraid, and I know you are too because you're shorter than I am, but like the height of the railing No issues at the Royal Alex.
No, it was
really
good.
good height, really good sightlines for this show. So that was great. Yeah, let's kind of talk about like the road to Mirvish for
Please.
this musical. Actually, I guess before we start that, do you want to give a little like synopsis of what this is about / where it came from?
Sure. So Tell Tale Harbour is a musical actually based on the Canadian film The Grand Seduction, which is in turn based on a French-Canadian film, La Grande Seduction, like, I don't know. And it's about a town in Atlantic Canada where their factory that employs most of the town closes. And in order to allow people to be able to stay in their homes where they've lived their whole lives, they need to... There's an opportunity for a French fry factory to open in one of the local towns. Their town, there's a few criteria they need to meet. One, they need to have a population of over 3,000 people. And the second one is they need to have a full-time doctor, which they do not have. So the seduction of the movie title is of this doctor who's visiting on a locum to visit and kind of help with the medical issues of the town for just 1 month. They want to entice him to stay. So they try to turn Telltale into this like perfect place for this doctor, Dr. Chris, and kind of shenanigans ensue, if you will, as they attempt to get the doctor to stay in order for them to open the French fry factory.
Yes. And from this series that is on YouTube, is it on the Confederation channel?
It is on the
Center's
Confederation
YouTube
Center of
channel?
the Arts. It's from the original production in 2022 in PEI. And so it's a 6-episode series kind of about the creation and like journey to that original production.
And kind of like the short story of this is that like Alan Doyle was a fan of this movie and kind of like worked with some people to like put this together. There's another man who I'm forgetting his name who...
Yeah, so there's like 4 guys,
yes,
if you will, who did this. So one is Alan Doyle. Sorry, I know this. One is also a swing in the show. I'm finding him right
Adam
now.
Brazier.
Yes, Adam Brazier. Then we have the writer of the book, who was Alan Doyle's neighbor. Where
Yes, Ed
is
Rich.
this one? Yes, you're nailing it. And then Bob Foster, the musical director.
And Bob Foster, like, if you've been to Come From Away in Toronto, like, that man is always musical directing. So he is kind of a Canadian staple as well, which made me think that, you know, this goes back all the way to 2022. And Come From Away was here again not that long ago. So he kind of played double duty, almost, you know, very similar stories, not the exact same, obviously, but very similar stories that he's working on, same kind of musical style. But Alan Doyle has said, also for people that don't know Alan Doyle, because like I also didn't know who Alan Doyle was. He's from the band Great Big Sea, which, I don't know, what would you describe that music as? Sea shanties?
No, I would call it like...
My friends from work call it like cottage, like rock-ish?
Sure. Folk rock. Yeah, like, you know, I'm on
cottage
the Wikipedia.
listening music.
Performing energetic rock reinterpretations of traditional Newfoundland folk songs, including sea shanties, draw from the island's 500-year Irish, Scottish, and Cornish heritage. Their big song, if you would know, I'm like trying to remember, it's like, I'm gonna like try and sing it, but now I'm gonna be bad at it. It's like, hey, Ordinary Day. Ordinary Day is their big song.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
me.
okay.
That's
I
their
know
big
the
song.
title. Yeah. And the thing is that, like, I've said this before, I work in Canadian television in my regular job, so I've kind of been following, like, this musical from its origin, which is when he signed on in 2021, and he said that he's always wanted to write a musical, be a part of a musical. I don't know if when he first signed up for this, he thought that he was going to lead this musical, but here he is, you know, leading this musical as well on stage.
I don't think so. I think they started writing it, and then he approached them. He said, "Hey, what do you think about me starring in it?" And they were like, "We were waiting for you to ask us to do this. Like, we were crossing our fingers that you would want to star in this as Frank."
Yeah, so this premiered at the Charlottetown Festival in PEI in 2022. It was on for, like, basically their summer season. I think it was in rep with like Anne of Green Gables, because I know quite a few people that were in Anne of Green Gables and, you know, vice versa went to go see this.
It's always in rep with Anne of Green Gables at the Confederation Center. Actually, I think they do every other year, but...
Yeah. And then they did it again there this summer, but after their collaboration began with Mirvish. So the production that played at the Confederation Center this summer, I'm pretty sure was also like brought to you by Mirvish Productions. It was a co-pro.
This is a pattern that Mirvish has been doing, which I really like.
We love it. It's so good. Yeah.
Mirvish will collaborate with another theater company like the Confederation Center in PEI or like the Segal Center in Montreal.
They're doing one too for We Will Rock You. Yeah.
Yeah. We Will Rock You is another collaboration. Titanic was a collaboration with the Segal Center, and it kind of shares the costs of casting, rehearsal, set, and it allows both cities to have this kind of very professional production of new musicals or musicals that we kind of import from the States. And it just like opens up the world of like casting Canadians as opposed to just like always bringing in tours. That sharing of the cost between multiple theater companies is something that other theater companies in Toronto have been doing recently, like the Soul Pepper musical stage. Who else? Crows have also been sharing a lot of costs like this coming up season. So it's, you know, it is a great thing that where you can kind of pool resources in order to make something bigger than what you would have been able to do on your own.
Yeah,
but yeah, it premiered. Go ahead.
We also just saw this with Great Comet, right? With Musical Stage Company and Crows and Mirvish, and like that was so exciting to us then. Like we talked to Haley about this. That was so exciting to her as a cast member in the show. So I agree with you. It's like, it's a good way to, you know, bring these Canadian actors. Oh, they're also doing it with Bright Star, right? They're working with
Bright Star is with like, I think Garner
Productions or something like that.
Yes.
I know it's musicians, so it's like a little bit different, but still, like a lot of collaborations are in the works, which is nice to see because typically, and don't get me wrong, we're still getting like UK imports, but typically we're doing like UK collabs, but it's nice to see that we're doing it like within our own city. But yeah, so the production that happened this summer is from what we understand, like basically exactly what we saw. They just like have remastered this here in Toronto. Yeah.
So the original production of Charlottetown Festival in 2022, I think the Mirvishes saw it. They, I think, hosted a workshop for it in 2023. They continued working on it, and then it was announced that it was going to be part of both the Confederation Center of the Arts, like Charlottetown Festival season in 2025, and the Mirvish season for 2025. So that's the production we're seeing right now, and that's kind of, you know, the part of the journey that we're in on Tell Tale Harbour. It's second production in the world.
Yeah. What we've talked about off the mic and what you brought up like at the beginning of this episode is the musical mold, the template to write a musical. And, you know, from seeing so many musicals every year, I think that they've done a really good job in studying that template and putting, you know, the correct pieces where they need to go to have people be like, oh, this is a style of a show I've seen many times before. You said that in the Confederation series, they like Jacob McGinnis, who's, you know, past guest of this podcast, said that it follows the mold of like a Golden Age musical. And it definitely does. Like this is, it's not modern. It's obviously playing in 2025, but it's not like the new age modern day musical. We are like going back to like some of the classics, which I think works really well for this like small town story.
Yeah, it's, you know, it is, there are stakes to it, but at the end of the day, you know, we're going to have a happy ending. We know we're on, it's a musical comedy as well. So the way in, you know, a classic musical, you have these kind of shenanigans and the stakes are high, but also, you know, pretty low. It reminded me of something like, not like Damn Yankees, but sort of like a Damn Yankees, or like, not in musical style in any way, but just kind of, or like an Anything Goes almost, just like very lighthearted journey for our characters.
Yeah. To me, like when that opening number hits, which is called Payday, which is very fun, a very like good upbeat number. As soon as that started, as soon as they brought out the tables with, you know, the boxes full of the lobsters, I was like, this is giving one of my favorite musical comedies, Kinky Boots energy.
Kinky Boots. That was giving Kinky Boots at the factory.
Yes. You know, Price and Sons, we're making shoes. Here we're, you know, throwing lobsters into
we need to
bins
keep the factory
from across
open
the room.
No, it isn't very much in that model. Like, to be honest, it's an evergreen story of people, you know, wanting to stay in their homes and needing to work and trying to keep jobs in your town. Like, this is something that will be, you know, only become more and more relevant as jobs are outsourced or used with technology. And, you know, the idea of needing a family doctor, like, that's a huge issue in Canada. I'm sure in other places, but a huge issue in Canada in having access to medical care. And there's a family doctor shortage in this country. So it's something that, you know, it just, like, so relatable to, you know, especially Canadian audiences watching this today.
Yeah. Another musical that it really reminded me of, which, like, I know not that many people saw because it was not well loved on Broadway, but I really had a great time, which is The Heart of Rock and Roll. They work in a cardboard box factory.
Wow. There were cardboard boxes here.
That was actually one of the best jukebox musical songs into a show, The Cardboard Box Factory, and they're singing Hip to Be Square. Like, that's so funny. Good. That's really good stuff. Let's talk about, you know, the musical comedy of it all, because this was a musical comedy that you, I think, really enjoyed. We were laughing out loud in this show.
There were certain moments that were just so silly, so funny, so amusing. They really, you know, this musical is a farce. Like, it is, it has farcical elements, and, you know, this seduction that they're doing.
We also break the fourth wall, like, quite a bit, I find. The Alan Doyle character, at least.
He's singing to us. He sings to us. Frank sings to us. Yes, there are farce elements that I thought really worked well and were very, very, just, like, sweet and funny, and just brought the audience. It's fun to, like, be in on the joke with the cast, and also kind of feel like you're getting one over on, let's say, Dr. Chris, in this case. Like, the whole, like, funeral sequence is everyone was dying during this funeral sequence because you are seeing something that, like, Dr. Chris is not seeing. So you're kind of, like, giggling and laughing and being brought in on you're also, like, part of fooling, you know, this doctor and keeping them on, like, to try and help them. And you're kind of on the side of the townspeople because, of course, you want the town to be able to stay how it is and to have jobs for the people so they can stay in their homes. So I don't know, it just feels like you're a part of this seduction to Dr. Chris.
Yeah. The other thing too, and you know what, like, again, we were there on opening day, it's media day, so, like, you know, the audience is primed to, you know, laugh and cheer at the appropriate moments, but maybe this is just me being, like, naive and the age that I am living in Toronto, but when Alan Doyle walked out...
He has, like, an entrance applause moment. They, like, reveal him.
It was so loud, and I'm like, I cannot believe all these people in this theater know who this man is. I know he's on the poster, but, like, who is he, you know?
Who is he? Yeah, I don't know. No, it's true. I was surprised at, you know, we're not necessarily the great big C demographic.
No.
But I was surprised at just the audience reaction to so much. They were so in the show immediately. Yeah. The woman next to me was guffawing. Like,
I know.
Once a minute.
I could hear her.
I was like, ma'am, are you okay? That wasn't that funny. And even at the end, you know, they start the finale and the song starts, the whole audience, like, immediate,
but also, like, leapt
along
to their feet.
Yes.
I have not seen a standing ovation like that in a long time.
Driven to stand. Yes, that's what got me emotional at the end. I was like, oh wow, everyone had such a nice time. Everyone was so moved.
It was during, I think it was like because they sing the opening number, like, again, Payday, basically, for the finale.
Payday, yeah.
And I turned to you, I was like, am I going to cry right now? And I just, like, you know, teared up because I've never, not never, but, like, sometimes it's rare these days that you get such, like, high energy from the actors on stage who they look like they're having a blast. Like, they love this material. They love working with each other, which is so nice to see. But, like, action from the audience was so exciting. And honestly, I feel like the last time that we've had such, like, I don't know, love for, like, our country is when we've seen Come From Away. Like, it felt like that same kind of energy, not to, like, put it in that Come From Away box.
No,
but,
it's
like,
hard not to compare. It felt so celebratory at the end in a way that, like, Come From Away also makes you feel at the end. But I think the main difference between this and Come From Away, I mean, there are many, many differences, but the huge difference is Come From Away is just so...
It's a perfect musical.
Come From Away is a perfect musical, but it is a lot darker, even though it does have that celebratory like tone to it. There is just like the fact that it's based on a true story, and that it also just has these like, you know, like darkness kind of at the center of it, even though it is a joyful musical, in that, you know, Tell Tale Harbour just does not have. It just has that celebratory energy.
There are no stakes in Tell Tale Harbour.
No, like there are stakes, but they very much, I think, are careful to make it so the audience is not like, oh man, these people are all gonna lose their, like, you know that they're all gonna lose their jobs, but they keep it light. They keep it light the whole time.
Yeah.
Even as they're handing out pink slips, you know, all the time. It's kept on the up.
Yeah, we're not getting any scene work, script work from those moments. It's just like a spotlight moment on the side when like something fun is happening on the other side. Let's talk about the music here, because I actually think the music is really good in this musical. And did you do what you asked me to do? Did we put things in boxes?
Okay, I didn't put it in a box.
But like, I'll tell you what I think,
discuss.
and then I'm sure, So basically, like, as we've kind of been talking about here all the way through, you know, it's they've really worked at the template of like a classic musical, we would say. So as we said, this music is Alan Doyle and Bob Foster. Now, again, not to bring it up a fifth time here, but like very reminiscent of Come From Away at certain moments. We were in the car being like, what's that song? The bar song from Come From Away.
There's one song in here that's like very much sounds like it.
It's like it's the hockey song, whatever that song is called, when they're like, hey ho, the hockey's on, is very the bar scene in Come From Away. The end like scene when the musicians are playing on stage while you're walking out of the theater and Come From Away, like the very upbeat banjo heavy numbers. I would say the opening number is kind of reminiscent of that too.
Yes, it is like, you know, traditional East Coast music, like East Coast kitchen party style, fiddles, banjo, guitar, you know, that sort of percussion. It makes sense. They live in a similar, you know, geographic world, kind of almost inspired by like Irish traditional music, you know, Celtic music. They're both pulling from those same wells. So it makes sense that there are similarities in the sound of music.
Yes. So to kind of just go through like the musical mold template, you know, we have the I Want song, the, you know, classic love song, an 11 o'clock number. And then I also went as far as doing a motif, because I feel like sometimes we get those as well. So I'll start with the motif, because I think that's kind of what starts us in this musical. And that to me is, you know, the I've got a song for you that comes all the way through. We have like Alan Doyle's character, Frank. Anytime... The moral of the story is Frank is a liar. Like, that is who this character is. He's just trying to do the best for his town, but he, at his core, can't help but lie about everything.
It's well-intentioned. He's just an everyday Evan Hansen right here.
Wow. We should put that, you know, on the poster, Alan Doyle, an everyday
Evan Hansen. I should have said that as my quote.
You should have. Yeah, we should have. But I would say, so anytime there's like a new song that's about to be introduced, he kind of like jumps to the center with a spotlight, and he starts his like, I've got a song for you little like moment. So I would say that that's probably like the theme, the motif all the way through. Song. I have two here because it's two separate characters. So I would say the first one is from Dr. Chris, the Gotta Go Home number, which a banger, I must say. Also, we should say before I continue, something else that they did that was so smart is there is a cast recording for Tell Tale Harbour. It is not the cast that we saw.
The songs of Tell Tale Harbour, because it's different actually from what we saw.
I know, slightly. Yes.
Okay.
But that song is there. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Dr. Chris sings it. It's kind of like a rock-esque. I don't want to say ballad because it's not really a ballad, but it's basically like, it's a should I stay or should I go home song, which is obviously why it's called Gotta Go Home, and sung by, you know, main side character.
He's looking for home, and that is kind of, well, they all are, but yeah, he wants to go home, and it, you know, as it turns out, it doesn't exactly look like what he thought it was going to look like when he sings this song.
Right. So that's why I think that that's like the I Want song. But then I would also say potential for the I Want song is sung by Kathleen, which is Real and True, which is kind of the same thing, just like the opposite from like her perspective of she's stuck in this small town. She works at the local general store and she like wants more for her life, but maybe this life is enough for her. So I think those are our two like I Want songs. What do you think?
I would agree with you. I would also say, as I was watching the kind of Road to Tell Tale Harbour song, they identify an I Want song as well. So, like, they were thinking about this, too. And the one that they have is, you know, I've Got a Song for You.
Oh, it's too early.
It is early, but they're like, you know, Frank is coming up with a plan. He's like, okay, here's what we got to do. Here, we have to keep our home together. And so that's like, you know, but, you know, you've identified one for Dr. Chris. We've identified one for Kathleen. Like,
I think they have one for like the characters throughout.
Each character has like different motivation, but that was kind of like the one that they identified was, you know, Frank, what he wants is for his family, his community to stay together. And so that was the one that they identified. All of our characters kind of come up with their, you know, motivations in certain ways.
But the two songs that I mentioned, like these are really good musical theater songs. Like they give you exactly what you would expect. They build in the right places. Also, like shout out to Melissa McKenzie who plays Kathleen because what a voice. Like so unfamiliar with her, but she has such an amazing voice and like really gets to showcase it throughout this musical. So love that. Also shout out to, where are you? Cale Penny, who also has a great voice. We've seen him in Christmases previously. But
so when he was singing, I was like, oh, okay.
He's got like a cool like rock tone to his voice.
I think you can also see that in like his own original music that he releases. If you see on social media and stuff, that's kind of the style of what he personally releases. But yes, he does have that kind of, you know, rock tone that fits in well with this style of music. Even though Dr. Chris's stuff sounds like a little bit different than everyone else's.
Yes, which I think is really smart because like, you know, everybody else is from
England.
The same town and he's from England, even though they know nothing about what English people like crazy.
Cricket, warm beer.
Yeah. Every time she's like taking a lighter to the beer, I was laughing. Like that was funny. Just like little moments, you know?
I watched the trailer for the movie, the Grand Seduction, in preparation for this. And
we've never seen the movie. We didn't say that, but we have not seen the movie.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't see it. It's Taylor Kitsch who's playing the doctor in the movie, and Brendan Gleeson who plays Frank. Like the names are different, but it kind of follows
except
along
for Kathleen, who has the same
Kathleen
name.
Is also Kathleen. But yeah, it follows along the same story. And he gets to his house, and there's cats everywhere because they like think he's obsessed with cats, so they just have
fun.
Cat plates. They give him a cake with a cat on it, and he's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, like
anyway,
is this what they do in Tell Tale Harbour? Yeah.
Yes, there's like big cricket sequence I think in the movie as well. The way that there is in the musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now to the love song, which we both agree. I also love this song. I think it's really good.
Pretty.
It's called Maybe It's Moonshine.
Yes, Maybe It's Moonshine. There's a few, like, you actually do get to see a lot of development of the Dr. Chris-Kathleen relationship, in my mind.
Yes. Even the way that this song ends when he's like, I gotta make a phone call. We were like...
I gotta make a phone call. Ah! I was like, honorable. Like, they don't even kiss. I was like, oh my God.
What a good man.
What a nice man. He's gotta break up with his fiance. I also really like, I'm gonna shout out Gotta Get Lost. Gotta Get Lost and Gotta Get Lost. The Gotta Get Lost reprise specifically is kind of the, like, I thought was really beautiful. To me. But yeah, there's like many a love song.
Yes.
You get to, they spend a lot of time developing their relationship. So you understand like why they like each other by the end.
But again, like I sent this to Steph the other day. I was like, I love this song. Like what a beautiful classical musical theater love song. Here's the thing. You know that something is good when you are compelled to go put on the cast recording is what I'll say.
So true.
And you immediately, like, on the subway, well, you were listening to another song, which we will talk about later in this episode, but you also were then compelled to put on the cast recording of Tell Tale Harbour. Yeah. And I think that that's a true sign of, like, oh, this is good. Like, this is something that I'm interested in hearing again. And then the final, like, you know, big song is the 11 o'clock number. I would say it's Living a Lie.
I agree. I think it is Living a Lie.
Which is basically...
everything comes to a head.
everything comes to a head. We like hear from Frank about, as I said earlier, his, little bit of a lying problem. But then we also have Kathleen and Dr. Chris, and we bring in the motifs of like, gotta go home. We get kind of like the songs that we've heard before all come into this one number. And I was like, this is really good, guys. Like,
the last
really
minute and a half
it.
of Living a Lie is so good. When Dr. Chris is like, tell me why.
It's so good.
I was like, wow. Rewind one more time, Dr. Chris. I want to shout out on the cast album, because it's not Cale Penny who we saw. Dr. Chris is Jalen Barnes, who sounds great on the cast album, and Kathleen is Michelle Bardach, who sounds also beautiful on the cast album.
Yeah.
So like Melissa McKenzie and Cale Penny were great this weekend when we saw it, but the cast album, has also beautiful, stunning voices on it that I'm so happy to hear there.
Yeah. And then as we said, this is a musical Canadian cast. And like, we have to shout out Joel Cumber, because the facial expressions that you are serving from the back of the theater, congratulations. They're so good.
I stand out the ensemble. He was so fun.
So fun. Anytime like we see his name, honestly, the best role that we saw him in, other than maybe this, was Kelly v. Kelly, because he truly played like an iconic character in that, and we were obsessed. Yes. But like, as soon as he walks on stage,
something about men, like men.
That is so good, so good. But as soon as he walked on stage, and again, he's like at the back of the stage, and serving to the back of the balcony.
Yes.
Like, that's what we should always be doing. We should always be playing to the furthest spot in the theater, and I respect and appreciate.
The couple, the gay couple who have to give up their home, played by Henry and Gus, played by Daniel Williston and Joel Cumber, are giving a lot of the comedy in the ensemble. Everyone in the ensemble, it's kind of a Gilmore Girls kind of populated town where, every person in town has their like quirky characteristic, and they populate the town really well with these, it's a small cast. I think it's like 12 or 13 people in the cast. So it's a small
working
cast.
Really hard.
Working hard, thinking about, what's the song? What's it called? From the bar to the church to the bar.
We are putting on multiple costumes. We are moving across the set. We are sweating by the end of that number.
I was sweating. Like just the way that they like create the characters in the town. In like, the best way I can think to describe it is like in a Gilmore Girls style, like Stars Hollow way. But yeah, the standouts there I think are like Henry and Gus, who give up their home, who, are just, silly in the background. Also, sorry, to Yvonne. Also, Yvonne is another standout. Laurie Murdoch, shout out.
There's a specific scene when he puts on sunglasses that is like iconic. It's really funny. I was like cackling from the dress circle. And so was the audience. Like, again, everyone was having a really great time. We said this when we saw it, but I would say, like, if you're looking for like a musical comparison, I would say there's like a few. Obviously Come From Away is in this mix. I said there's like a little bit of Waitress in here, which again is kind of like tight-knit group, musical comedy, fun. For the factory elements, Kinky Boots. There are certain vibes to that. I don't know, is there any other ones that like come to mind for you?
Yeah, I don't have like the perfect golden age comparison, but just like if you think of like a golden age musical comedy, like what have we seen recently that makes me think of it? Like, I don't know why I was like, it's not Damn Yankees, but I was like thinking Damn Yankees the whole time for some reason.
More Damn Yankees than like Anything Goes, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's not like a My Fair Lady type.
No, it's not My Fair Lady. My Fair Lady is like has a little more darkness to it, I think. Yeah, I was more saying like Anything Goes for like tonally, like, that like farcical element of like not mistaken identity, but
what about like what did we just see at Stratford this year? What about like a Dirty
Rotten Scoundrels? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's also a little bit. Yeah, it's like another one where they're like, playing a big scheme the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes, no, for sure.
It's interesting.
That's also in kind of the model of a classic musical to me, like a Golden Age.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting because like a show like that, a show like Waitress, a show like Come From Away, a show like Kinky Boots, it's like we do have like our main characters, but all the side characters also get their time to shine. Like specifically in Waitress, it's like Jenna and Dr. Pomader's story, but then we also get like Dawn and Ogie, and then we get, what's the other friend's name? I don't remember the other friend's name. The other waitress. Her. We get that side story. We get like Cal, the man that works at the diner. Then we get the old man, Joe. Like it's kind of like that.
Take it from an old man.
And yeah, I also think of like, again, like, I love Kinky Boots so much. I think Becky. Yes, we both love Kinky Boots, and I just think of, like, all of those characters that work in the factory also have their own little shining moments, and that felt very reminiscent here. Now, I am naming, like, modern musicals. Obviously, Kinky Boots, Waitress, Come From Away, these are, like, modern musicals, but they all kind of follow that, like, template of a classic musical. I also wanted to talk about here, because something that I loved, I know you really enjoyed it as well, the set design was beautiful. The, like, little doll houses, I guess I would call them. I don't know.
To, like, create the, like, town with, like, perspective. They're kept upstage most of the time.
So the set and props designer is Michael Gianfrancesco. There was a boop moment, you know, when they turned the houses from black and white to color. Thrilling.
True.
There was almost a disaster on stage that made us laugh when a panel got stuck on a house. The panels actually are very reminiscent of Come From Away, I would say. Those, like, wood.
Like that, like, wood. Yeah, the background of, you know, when we interviewed Irene, she had one of the panels from the original Broadway set, like, behind her. Yeah. And it's, like, similar, you know, we had that, like, big wood panel. That original production, I think it had, like, a different director, different set designer, but the staging was quite different. It was a bunch of crates, boxes, on, like, a turntable, so it would rotate, and, you know, you'd open a couple boxes, and it would be, like, the store, or you'd open a box and it would become, like, the bar, or you'd open a box and stuff would come out of it. And so it was, like, this, like, not stationary set, but this, like, almost, you know, one set that became everything. And and it would have a turntable so you could flip it around, and more crates on the other side that would do something else. So yeah, this is a not very different, but this is a new production with new direction, new, like, creative team. And
everything, it looks beautiful. Like, it's obviously brand new, fresh, but, like, the signs, that Tell Tale Harbour sign that comes down at the end is so beautiful. Yeah, it's just, like, I think they did a really good job on, like, making the atmosphere, I don't know, the way that it was. I honestly, like, I said this to you when I was leaving the theater, I really don't have, like, anything bad to say about this. There's obviously, like, issues with the book, but what musical literally does not have issues? No. But I just, like, don't care, because I had a nice time.
I did have a really nice time. What, like, my main critique is that it's quite formulaic, which is, like, in some ways, you know, a strength. You know exactly what you're going to get when you get to the end. You know, you can feel safe in the hands of this musical, that you're going to walk away feeling happy. But yeah, I don't think there was anything, the surprise of this musical was that we enjoyed it. There was nothing on stage necessarily that was like, wow, can't believe how they did that, or oh my god, that's crazy. Like, it's just, it's standard. It's nice. I had a nice time. There, you know, we're not breaking any ground here. We're not doing anything crazy here.
And again, like,
that's okay.
No, but it's fine. And I also feel like maybe the reason that, like, we did enjoy it as much as we did is because sometimes
expectations were on the floor.
Well, that for sure. I literally walked in being like, I might hate this, and I didn't. Which is, I don't know, maybe I should walk into many things like that.
We thought it would be like in Dreams.
So true. We should have known that it wouldn't be exactly like in Dreams, because that was kind of a crazy plot line. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah. You know, sometimes, like, a simple plot line, when you try to do too much.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know. I was going to say, like,
they weren't doing too much.
Sometimes when it's just, like, you know, as, like, yes, formulaic, but when it's done well, sometimes simplicity is best. Sometimes simplicity is all I need. Even though I'm always like, let's try new things, let's do new things. But then, you know, you see a million new things and you're like, well, why don't we just tone it down a notch? And here they are toning it down a notch. And I had a nice time.
They were just
Is it my favorite musical of all time? Absolutely not, but I had a great time.
No, there's, like, a couple, you know, is this the time now to talk about, like, what do we think the future of Tell Tale Harbour is?
Yeah.
Do we think there is a future for Tell Tale Harbour?
To be honest, I think this is it. I think getting, which is, like, horrible to say, because as we're saying, you know, how much we enjoyed it, but I think, and maybe this is, like, putting this so high on a pedestal, but this is, like, the biggest theater company in Toronto by far. I think making it to a Mervish stage is probably all that they ever really wanted, because that is the most new eyes on it that you could get. But
to be in Toronto with the population of Toronto and, you know, the tourism of Toronto versus the tourism versus, not that, like, Confederation Center and PEI is also, they actually have a lot of
They
tourists
get more
come
tourism,
through.
yeah.
They got a lot of tourists come through. And it's also, like, a big government-funded theater, and it's, like, 1,000 seats. So, you know, that's also a great place to be. But, yes, to come to Toronto, the big city, if you will.
I was going to say, there's something, like, sparkly about Toronto still, I think. And, like,
the character
being in
of
a British
Kathleen
theater,
talks about
living in
her
Toronto.
small town, going to Toronto.
Yeah.
Going to school to live there. So,
like,
no,
I don't know. At the end of the day, like, putting yourself in the Royal Alex Theatre, a historic theater in this country, I would say, is, like, probably the end goal. Is this going to Broadway? No. And that's okay.
It is okay.
I just don't think it'll work
like,
there.
No, you know, a lot of, not to say that, there are many towns in the United States that I'm sure, and there's a lot of economic uncertainty. I'm sure this is an extremely relatable story for, you know, so many people all across North America. But yes, I do think this feels like quite specifically Canadian, and
you know what it's like.
I wonder.
This is a really random comparison,
Please,
but it's slightly giving Coda, the movie.
Wow, Coda. I love Coda.
They work on a boat. Like, it's the same thing.
They did not. No one worked on a boat.
No, they fish, right? Or is it lobster there too? It's something.
So I think it was like lobster. It was like a lobster processing factory.
Same.
And then they did fish, but, like, they didn't actually catch a fish.
No, but, like, Coda to me gives, like, small town vibes as this does.
Like, that is an East Coast
and that
thing.
won Best Picture at the Oscars, so...
I think it was win Best Picture. I just think there's, like, as much as I enjoy it, I just don't think there's enough to it to go to Broadway. Like, I think it just needs something a bit
and also,
more.
Like, we solved the problem so fast, which is fine, but,
that's
like...
just how it has to be.
But, like, we talked about this yesterday. In order to have a happy ending, we need to move on. So it has to be quick. It needs to be tight.
They're just like, oh, Dr. Chris is staying. He found his home. And also they merged all the towns together. So now they have the population.
Yeah.
And the factory's opening. You're like,
great.
Oh, okay. Great.
Here I am clapping along at the end. Like, I'm here for this. The other thing, too, is I do think that they nailed it with this only being 2 hours, including the intermission. It's not too long. This could have really dragged if we went on.
Oh, I know.
And I don't think it really drags that much. It's like decently tight. Like, the
second act was 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The second act was tight to me. The second act really moved. And comparing the cast album to the set list in
the musical,
or
the Toronto
program,
yeah.
Act 2, I think, has basically stayed the same. Whereas Act 1 is where they really moved stuff around and cut stuff and added new things. It's like, you know, finale. I'm going backwards, but actually, let me start from the beginning. Like, you never look so good. You're coming home. Gotta get lost. Reprise. Bard to the church. Bard to the church. To the march. I was doing that earlier. It's funny. Just imagine. Maybe it's moonshine. Live in a lie. My family reprise finale. Like, that's Act 2 in the program and in the cast album. Act 1 is where there's stuff that was cut, was added. Like the hockey song.
Yeah.
Is not on the cast album.
Yeah. The other thing, too, that I think was surprising to us, and I think we did mention this in our season preview a couple episodes ago, this is basically sold out. Like, this run has sold so well, which, again, maybe my naivety, my age, but I'm like, who bought tickets for this in advance?
Honestly, I think your best bet is standing room now. They're doing standing room
for $25,
for $25. I've done standing room at the Royal Alex for Come From Away.
Actually, let's see what's happening right now, if there's any rush tickets available for today. I don't know, but I will. I'm on the website right now, so let's take a look.
But your best bet right now is standing room.
It's 2:30.
And it's not so long.
Currently on a Tuesday. And as of right now, there's actually a handful of seats in the orchestra for Rush at the back. And there's
no real bad seats at the Royal Alex.
No.
View-wise.
It's very small. We sat in the balcony not that long ago for Comet, and it was fine. We did sit in the balcony for Comet.
Yeah, sound-wise is hit or miss. Like, Aisling Murphy's review mentioned sound issues that we did not feel were there in the dress circle. But we saw her.
There's actually quite a few seats in the dress circle today. Okay. So, all that to say,
2 weeks later.
This is on Tuesday, September 30th at 2:30 in the afternoon. I can't tell you what it's going to be like 2 weeks from now. But this is on sale at Mirvish till November 2nd. I don't think there's any chance that this could extend because we're like in the season.
Yeah, I agree.
Next is
What's
Anne
going to
Juliet.
Alex next? And Juliet, yeah. So we have like they need to tech that and they need to open that. So
but all that to say, like, I could see this back to the question that you just asked of like what is the life of this? Like, I could see this touring across, like put it in Ottawa, put it in Montreal, bring it to I don't know,
the West Coast.
Yeah, like go to the Citadel, like I don't know, play this in Canada. Why not? Like get some people to see this. I just don't think it's realistic to have Broadway as the goal for this musical.
No, I know. What do you think about something like the Muni?
Sure.
Like,
great.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think like where else could we go?
And here's the thing. I'm going to say this right now, and maybe I'll eat my words in like 3 years because I'm pretty sure I ate my words when I said this about Come From Away, but like, is this too Canadian to play anywhere else?
No, I know. This does feel like oddly more Canadian than Come From Away, even though
it's because
Come From
Away has the 9/11 side of it that is so American that like there's nothing like that.
It's about like
this musical.
almost like a bond between these countries, or like a bond between Canada and the world. Whereas this is it's like quite insular, even though it is like a relatable story. It is a quite like insular.
Also,
thing.
like how many people have seen the movie The Grand Seduction?
It's also a Canadian film, like it's a Canadian movie.
Right. I don't know, and I again like we say this all the time. We say
remember Fisherman's Friend? This is actually the other comp to this, Fisherman's Friend.
But I actually think this is like so much better than that.
I like this more than Fisherman's Friend.
Yeah. The other thing too is that like, and we say this all the time, but like I just don't think that Broadway should be the be all end all goal for this musical.
No,
I think it's fine.
It definitely shouldn't, but at the end of the day, it always is. When you start writing a musical, even if you're just in your house, in your basement, starting to write, the end goal for any musical is always Broadway, and then eventually you kind of like start to be realistic.
The thing is though that like
when you first put pen to paper,
you write Broadway in all caps.
No, you don't necessarily even write it, but that is just kind of like
no, I know
the ideal trajectory for any musical.
But like, what is the Alan Doyle appeal in the States? Do they even know Great Big Sea?
I think they know the song Ordinary Day.
Okay, because like that's another element to it, where as I said, like this man is getting entrance applause, huge entrance applause in Toronto. Yes. Would that transfer somewhere else?
A program like in the States is gonna like be this face, be this mug.
He
was actually pretty good in the show. Like I have to shout out.
He's
like,
fine. Yeah, it's exactly what I thought that he would be. I think some of his like improv moments are actually really fun and great. He's playing it up to the audience. He knows that people are there to see him, which I think is fun. And you know what? Soak it in, Alan. Like who knows when you'll get this opportunity again. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say on this. Do you have anything more?
No, I don't really have anything more to say on this. What I will say is, and I'll shout out like Wade Muir, am I saying his last name right? Where we were at the red carpet and he's like taking photographs. He's like, we're here to celebrate new Canadian musicals. And I was like, we are here to celebrate new Canadian musicals. That is one of the most exciting things like about something that we try to celebrate on our podcast is, local musicals or Canadian musicals and supporting talent like in Canada. We cover a lot of what happens in the States and in New York, but some of the most exciting stuff is
right here,
stuff cast with Canadians, and we're about to talk about 2 more shows like cast with Canadians, one like written in Canada, and we'll talk about its trajectory a little bit, and like that's kind of the most exciting stuff, to be able to cast like local talent, because we have some of the most amazing talent in my mind, like in this city, in this country. And so that that's one of the biggest things that Tell Tale Harbour can give us, is a chance to see this amazing talent, and not only on stage but behind the scenes, and getting to use their creative chops for something Canadian, because oftentimes we're just adapting or reinterpreting or importing stuff from other countries, but specifically the United States, and for this to be like homegrown, it's the best.
Yeah. Before we rate it, I also want to say I really appreciate the time that they took to do this, to do different iterations, to try things out, to see what works, what doesn't. And I think that's something that we also talk a lot about on this podcast is, the importance of an out of town, the importance of a tryout, the importance of a workshop. So I think when you get people that are like committed to making something and making it to the best of its ability, that's also really exciting. And
investing in a workshop process, which they did for this show.
Yeah, like, to be honest, I don't know that Alan Doyle needed to do this for 4 years of his life, but he has. And I think that's like really like admirable for him to do when he has a full other career as a musician.
Yeah, he's like passionate about it.
Yeah, so I just appreciate like the work and the time and like the work ethic I think that was put into something like this. Wow, what a love fest for this. Like I know, like
shocked. What are we doing here?
Anyway, let's rate it.
I am gonna rate Tell Tale Harbour. This is hard.
This is the thing. We're gonna say everything we just said, and then it's gonna be a 7 because it's always a 7.
I don't know. I was gonna say 7, but then I was like, I can't give it a 7. We were too nice. I'm just thinking about what I wanna rate it.
Your metric?
What's my metric? I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. Little like cricket bats. The cricket bat that he turned into the insole for Vera.
I'm also gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I'll give it a lobster for my metric. Like, is this maybe a 7 musical? Sure, but I had a great time, so it's an 8 to me. I know, that's the thing.
This is a biased... We never said we weren't biased. We are biased. We are biased. The thing about this is, I would recommend this to people. I would say...
Oh, for sure. It's really
go
fun.
see Tell Tale Harbour.
Like, here's the
You'll
thing,
have a nice
too.
Time.
One of my friends messaged me. Let me pull up the exact wording of it.
Please pull it up.
Because I was like, this is funny. Literally, like, replied to my Playbill story saying, was this bad? Which is probably what I would send to someone if they were seeing this before I was seeing this. Yeah. So sorry to Tell Tale Harbour. We just talked about how much we liked it for so long, so whatever.
Yeah.
And I responded being like, honestly, I was so pleasantly surprised. Like, it wasn't bad to me. I would recommend this. I think you should go see this. And also, like, kind of a family-friendly musical, which...
For sure.
Why not? If you're from the East Coast... Go. Go. You should absolutely see this. But all that to say, it's playing at the Royal Alex until November 2nd. And yeah, that is, our thoughts on Tell Tale Harbour. This is so much longer than I thought that we would talk about this. So crazy.
Chop it.
There's honestly not that much to chop. I think it was good stuff. But with that being said, it's now time for our obsession of the week. We are jointing this obsession because, we've seen everything together. We are in a cycle here of 6 shows? 7 shows?
Yes, we've seen, so I'm about to go on vacation, and from September to the time I'm going on vacation, we have 6 shows to see. We have now seen 4 of them. We have 2 coming up next week.
I'm tired.
I know, I'm tired. So the next 2
Which is
shows
crazy
we
because
seen yet,
when we go to New York, we see 9 in
boom.
4 days. But it's just different because
it's just different.
Yeah, real life is happening here. When we're away, we're only doing that. But here, things are happening. There's you're packing for vacation. There's a lot going on.
It's a lot happening. No, so the last 2 that we haven't seen
yet. We're also batch recording, which is...
We're batch recording.
Happening.
So the last 2 that we're going to see before kind of our break in seeing shows is Slave Play and Bright Star. Those are kind of our last 2, the first week of October, basically. Yeah. But we want to shout out... I think 2 Canadian productions of musicals from different theater companies that we enjoyed. Mm-hmm. Enjoyed, yes. Enjoyed. And I don't even know. I think Octet just extended. So let's start with Octet because we saw it first. It was actually the first in our batch.
Crows.
I know.
Thank you for the card stock. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's just a bifold, if you will.
It's like a mailer. Sponsored by Cineplex.
Love Cineplex. So yeah, this is a Crows Soul Pepper musical stage company co-production. Octet, obviously written by Dave Malloy, and Crows specifically, plus musical stage, have had an amazing success.
We've really been on a Dave Malloy journey.
Yes, and also Haley Gillis in there too. I think she's the only through line in all of this as well. Mm-hmm. With Ghost Quartet, which we saw, Great Comet, which obviously
obsessed.
you know our feelings, and then finally Octet now, and I wonder what's the next one? 3 Houses maybe.
Black Swan.
Well, that's a bit far away.
We never did a Comet episode, did we?
No, we actually never did a Comet episode.
That's crazy.
We just had Haley on. I know, especially because we adored it so much.
I know.
But here we are just to talk about Octet. Do you want to give the plot description? Because I give the plot description for...
I can give my very, very, very basic plot description of Octet is that Octet, 8 people, are attending an like AA style meeting for their like internet / social media addiction, I would say.
Yeah.
And we basically hear from each person. They kind of like step up, have a solo moment, and tell their story of why they're there. And then there are some like, you know, full choral songs where we're just, I don't know, singing about anything and everything. It's
Shout
like
out to
a little
Monster.
It's a little
Shout out to
cult.
Monster.
Yeah, Monster is actually like so good. And specifically, I mean, we love her so much. Haley, we love you. But like Haley in Monster was like a tone of her voice I have not heard. It was really good. I think
Monster was the one that gave the most great comment to me.
Yes.
Like sound wise.
Yes.
Where they're like mom, 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 mom. They're like that part.
We talked to Haley specifically about this, but her voice suits Dave Malloy music so beautifully. She has, and I mean this in like the most complimentary way, but like a haunting quality to her voice that is so stunning. This was at the bigger theater in Crows, which we've been in a few times, and it's so like interesting to go in there from time and time because they transform it in such a cool way. This has the, you know, Taylor Swift video screen flooring. We also have like a really big like light truss above them that mocks like, it's a church, right? That's where they are?
It's like a church basement sort of, yes.
Yeah. And then we're just like kind of in this same space the entire show. What I will say about this is that it's pretty culty, I would say. And I think it's like meant to be pretty culty. I don't mean that in like a join this cult, like they're telling you to do that, but like they're kind of like part of a cult, quote unquote, because...
Yes, it's never really explained either.
No, because there's like, I'll call him a cult leader, but we never meet Sal, who
him.
like calls this group together weekly to talk about like their addiction. But the way that the hymns that they sing, some of the solo songs that they sing, like it's very like cult-esque, which I think is why a lot of people are like drawn to this and really like it. But I will say some of the best vocal performances we've seen in like this year in this show.
I want to shout out Andrew Broderick.
So good. His solo was amazing. Also,
that's like my favorite song in the show, I think. But
I don't know his name. The
Ben Carlson?
No.
Jill Tompkins?
Yes. His baritone voice, wild.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We never talked about this. I'm going to ask you now. Did you notice that they were wearing in-ears?
I did, actually, yes.
What do you think was going on in there?
I think it's a metronome because it's a cappella. This show is a cappella. I think there's cues because there's no conductor of this show that we can see anyway, and there's no instrumentations besides what they're doing. It's a choral musical. Yeah, have we said that? Like it's a cappella and there's like a few instruments. They're like
they're pitch piping. Yeah,
they'll play their pitch pipe before they go, and then they'll go. So I think it's like so they can hear what's happening, and I think it's probably just like a metronome to keep them going and counting in. There might be someone speaking, but mostly I think it's
that's what I thought, but then I wasn't sure because there's that one song that legitimately features the metronome like all the way through. So I'm like, are they hearing this twice?
They might turn it off.
Yeah.
Like they might turn like have a track or turn things on
the main
off.
woman who's like the almost like leader, Zorana Sadiq, like she was taking her in ear like out every so often.
Oh really?
Yes. But I wonder if that's also just to like harmonize with the people. 8-part harmonies is like beautiful, so interesting. This music is like really, really interesting. There's no intermission. You know, Globe and Mail
like,
critics pick. I keep getting emails about this.
There are discounts available. Like I think you can get a ticket.
Every other day I get, if you're the first 25 people, you get 25% off or something like that.
Yes. I think just like a really interesting exploration of like internet culture, religion.
Yes, religion.
Like exploration of religion, exploration of, you know, our relationship to people. And there's no conclusion drawn. It's kind of just like, here's some ideas for you. And like, think about them as you will.
There was people that left behind us that were like, wow, this is really going to make me like change the way that I think about the internet. And then like, here I am. Still on Reddit.
Yeah,
still
that's
on
the
TikTok.
thing. Still on, like, scrolling my TikTok.
We're not using, like, these platforms the same way that, like, these people are in this specific musical. And I fully understand how, like, these chat rooms can be so dangerous as we, like, hear these stories. But it's funny because, like, you know, you go through, like, they take you through the darkest times of, like, internet porn in one song, and then we're singing about Candy Crush in another. And it's just, like, I don't know, it's a really, like, as you said, like, interesting, like, exploration of
or, like, our relationship
people.
with, like, reality, like, in a screen versus, like, outside. And, like, what is real, what is not. Is it all real?
And I guess I should have said also, like, when they're in this, like, meeting, they're obviously, like, not on their phones.
Yes, it's a phone-free zone.
There's no phone in sight in this musical, just the video screen floor, which I thought they used, like, very well. Yeah,
it was really cool. At some points, it's, like, a parquet floor, and then at some points, you know, there's boxes that they're moving in and out of, or there's games happening. You know, cool. It's cool stuff. They had a little video screen floor in Comet, but this is the full...
It's big, yeah.
The full floor.
But yeah, like, again, cool. We've said this time and time again, but, like, Dave Malloy makes really interesting music. There is a cast recording for Octet that we kind of, like, dove into in the pandemic. But you rarely hear 8-part harmony, so to hear that for, like, an hour and a half straight was, like, pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, I would say, I guess, like, for the sake of this, like, obsession, I'll put Monster in here because that was, like, the coolest one to us in this.
And it was, like, a surprise, let's say. Like, it wasn't something that I'd remembered from listening to the cast album, but it was very good.
Okay, moving on to the next one. We unfortunately do not have anything to hold up for this, which is devastating. But, you know, digital playbills are the way. I was like, should I try to find it on my phone? Did I cancel out that window of Ride the Cyclone?
You sent it to me.
Shifting Ground. I did send it to you. Okay, let me pull it up. While I pull it up, do you want to give a synopsis of Ride the Cyclone?
Let me give a synopsis of Ride the Cyclone. Ride the Cyclone is a musical, a Canadian musical, actually, about a choir in Saskatchewan who goes to a theme park and they die on a roller coaster. And they are kind of in this, like, the cyclone. Ride the Cyclone, please. And they die on a roller coaster and they're kind of stuck in purgatory. And the amazing Karnak, which is a kind of fortune-telling machine, says they have the opportunity for one of them to come back to life. So each of them sort of pleads their case in a way or kind of explores their life to Karnak, to us, and then at the end, one of them is going to be selected to come back to life. It's giving Cats. It's giving Heaviside Layer.
Well, here's the thing. We were saying this when we were walking to the car, like, not the exact same, but obviously in Octet, everybody stands up and does their solo in the same way that everybody does here. You know, in six, we're competing to see who's gonna go solo. Like, it's the same thing.
Every character has their own kind of exposition moment.
Yeah.
And then there's sort of like a conclusion at the end. So yeah, like, this is a tried and true formula for shows. Ride the Cyclone was so interesting, so compelling. This is another cast recording that I listened to in the pandemic. I think it came out in 2021. And it also had, you know, a long journey from when it first started to be developed, I think in 2008, even earlier maybe, to, you know, productions in Canada. They did a tour, like, of Atlantic Canada. Then they went to the States. They went to Chicago Shakes. They went to Off-Broadway, Alliance Theatre. And this is one we were just, you know, talking about the kind of journey to Broadway that fell short of, you know, that ultimate end goal, which I think was their ultimate end goal. I think they were trying to make that happen. And so, but we'd heard so much about Ride the Cyclone. I'd listened to the cast album, but this was the first time we were ever seeing a production of it. And we were doubly excited because it is a production put on by Shifting Ground Collective, who we fell in love with the production of 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee back in March. And so when they announced that their 2025-2026 season was an all-Canadian season of Ride the Cyclone and the Drowsy Chaperone coming up in March, we were so excited. And Ride the Cyclone was, to me, so good.
Like, this is such a weird show. And again, like, speaking 100%. On, like, culty musicals, definitely this. Like, this would fall into the vein of, like, a cult fan fave. What's interesting to us is that, you know, as soon as we saw this, then we came home and literally put on another production of Ride the Cyclone because there's a really good bootleg.
There's a really quality bootleg, which...
Different.
It's essentially a pro shot. It's essentially a pro shot on YouTube. It's very interesting.
But that only has those, like, five characters plus...
So it's technically 6
Karnak.
plus Karnak. Yeah. The production that Shifting Ground Collective put on, like, Karnak is played by 6 actors altogether and is not necessarily represented in the way you would expect like the fortune telling machine to be represented.
They're like circus performers almost.
Yes, and they have kind of this like glowing orb. So yeah, visually so different. Do you have the program up, or I can pull it up? I just want to.
I do.
Like shout out some.
I will say this was at the Annex
director,
Theater.
Choreographer.
This was at the Annex Theater here in Toronto. I will say sound quality was a little rough, but
Tricky.
That's okay. We got the gist of it. There were some times when I was like, what's happening here? But, you know, that's fine.
That's okay.
But we were talking about this when we were driving back, that, like, Shifting Ground Collective is doing really good work. And we obviously talked about this. Well, we actually haven't talked about it enough, but, like, you will be hearing from us in our year in review about Spelling Bee. It's just, like, I don't know. It's so exciting to me when people are so passionate about something. Honestly, very similar to like Alan Doyle's passion in Tell Tale Harbour. Like very similar vibes. And these are
except
young,
so different.
So different. But like these are young people that have put together this like production company. We will be hopefully doing an interview with the team from Shifting Ground in the new year.
To talk to the team.
Because we're just so like fascinated by one, their like choices of shows that they put on, because I think it's like really good stuff. And two, that like unlike what we said about Tell Tale Harbour and like the formulaic, like this is so breaking the mold every single time and doing really cool and innovative things, even with a production like Spelling Bee that is like so like standard, tried and true. But like I could literally talk about that show all day because I loved it so much. And I just think that, like, the people that are working behind the scenes and, like, on stage with Shifting Ground are just doing, like, really, really good work. So, like, shout out to that team because we're excited, like, when we see their name pop up these days.
Yeah. The passion and, like, the love comes through so strongly from, you know, as soon as you walk into the theater, as soon as your ticket is starting to be collected. I don't know. I just feel like the excitement of bringing, you know, independent musical theater to Toronto. And yeah, I'm kind of like loyal to them now. I'll see anything that they do. I want to shout out director Stephen Howe. Like the vision of this was really great. I also really liked the choreography. So that's Madison Arneson. Yeah, just like the cast was so good.
Shout out Misha, we love you.
Well, Misha, not the character Misha. Well, also the character Misha. Also the character Misha.
But the actor. He was in
Misha Sharivkar, I think. He played Ricky Potts.
He was in Spelling Bee as well, but he's in this. But he is like a really, really good actor. And I just like love seeing him in things because
he's got like a great physicality to him.
Yes,
that I really like.
But it just like he's again acting to the back of the room, and that room was so small, but he is giving like the biggest performance, which is really exciting to see.
I'll shout out Eric Martin, who played Noel Gruber. Kind of like it's a tricky song, the kind of like cabaret Chicago style song, and we're about to see them in and Juliet this winter, so really exciting there. Who else? Who played Misha? What's his name? Alex Yanu. Honestly,
icon.
To me, a highlight. Talia, that was the highlight of the show to me. The whole thing, great, but that was like the peak.
Shifting Ground's version of Talia is better than the Pro Shot's version of Talia.
Beats whatever's happening on the Pro Shot. You know, they had like 12 people to work with versus
the dance
just
break.
Like 6. The dance break, just the whole sequence. You know, with the bride kind of coming down the stairs.
It's so
everyone,
good.
Like the ensemble entering, so good. Just really fun. Yeah, and there's something about Ride the Cyclone that is so absurd. Like
it's wild.
Like there's an absurdity to this whole thing, and you know, what's the song where it's like Space Age Bachelor Man, where Ricky Potts says it's about to get weird, and you're like, oh, bro.
Right now it's gonna get weird. It's been weird all the way through. It's been weird.
It's been weird, but and they know that they're in on it. Like tonally, so fun. So yeah, I got a shout out.
Yeah, it's interesting because Ride the Cyclone is having a life. Like they're gonna be in the UK at Southwark Playhouse in November until like January, I believe. So like we keep seeing these productions like pop up. I don't know, like again, as we just spent so much time talking about like Road to Broadway, like is this too weird for Broadway? Like is it? I just think of like how much we love Dead Outlaw and how much it flopped on Broadway. You know what I mean? Like, is it too weird?
there is something to the fact that a lot of times people will not end up seeing things, or it will not be able to have a really long life until it makes it to Broadway.
Right.
There are things that you can do to kind of mitigate that, like a cast album, or like someone probably in the production releasing a pro shot on YouTube and pretending it's a slime tutorial, which is what I think has happened here.
We love that.
I really do think that's what
that camera was on a tripod. We had multiple angles.
I think it was like maybe like a rehearsal footage or something. Like, I'm just like making stuff up, but I think it was probably like a record keeping of something, and you know,
no, it is true, because
they're just like, there's nothing to lose, put it up.
We were scrolling through like videos, and it's like, so the Jane Doe character, who's often like the look of this character is supposed to be that like she's unfortunately beheaded in the accident, and her head is supposed to be like a doll. She walks out in this version too, like she had a Barbie in this version, but the one that's on YouTube, she has like an actual doll's body. But like people are doing makeup tutorials of Jane Doe, like from Ride the Cyclone, so it's got that like fan base.
Gen Z has gone on to Ride the Cyclone.
And as we said for Tell Tale Harbour and for this too, like obviously this didn't make it to like the biggest stage, but they also have a cast recording, and it's a cast recording is so important. That's how you found this in the pandemic or after the
That's how so many people found it. The cast album was released in 2021,
right?
So that off-Broadway, the cast is not the off-Broadway production. The cast is the Alliance Theater production, which I think was 2017. Off-Broadway was 2016. But yeah, and I think after the 2017 Alliance Theater production, they released it to be available to license, and they kind of like let it go from the original hands. And you know, I don't know what the West End production, if it's like a licensed production or if it's
I'm not
like
sure.
affiliated with the original creative team. But yeah, I think having a cast album is, we've talked about this so many times, but like
it just is longevity.
To the musical Glory, it's so important, thinking about like the musical Glory days, which I spoke about so many years ago, where they closed on opening night, but they got money together to record that cast album. And like, that's how people know that show. Or something like, I just had one in my head, Cry Baby, where they recorded that cast album years later. That's crazy. Like, you know, these things disappear unless there's like a record of it. So having the cast album here, having the cast album for Tell Tale Harbour,
and that's the thing, like with social media these days and the weird algorithms of like TikTok, like you never know what can take off. So that's why
Ballad of Jane Doe was going viral on TikTok.
Exactly.
I didn't even know this, but
I didn't know this either, but I read about this also. But like it's interesting that like, you know,
we're not Gen Z.
No, we're straight up millennials.
We're millennials.
But it's interesting how, like, you know, someone will.
Can you tell by Tara's side part?
Yeah,
okay? Like
we got a really deep side part. She's always been there.
Not to
call me out like this. But no, you never know. Like, someone will upload a random song from something onto TikTok, and that sound goes viral. And we've seen this so much, I would say, in the last 5 years specifically. So I don't know. It's very interesting stuff now to have like social media play out the life of shows these days. So if this is a lesson for anybody, record it. Like, I spoke about this.
Scrounge up that money.
Yes.
And it's expensive. It costs money.
You know, it just brings me back to my obsession last episode of the original bootleg from Martin Short of Godspell. Like, record it, everybody. Like, just press play. That's all you need to do.
100%.
But yeah, I feel like that, you know, completes our love letter to Canadian musicals. Canadian productions, at least, for this episode.
These three are shows that, you know, never made it to a Broadway stage. And like,
Tell Tale Harbour is still
well,
it's never going to, but it's still in the
We don't think it's going to make it. But, you know, that doesn't mean it's like less worthy. Like,
100%.
Obviously everyone knows this, but it doesn't mean it's like less worthy as a piece of theater, as a piece of musical to be like sought out.
I know everyone knows that, but I also don't think we say it enough. Like, it's not like, if you don't make it to Broadway, it's not the end. Like, look at Heathers. Let's like,
I know.
That is something to be studied. You know what I mean? Like, that show has had such a huge life. And it's never made it to a Broadway stage, and it never will make it to a Broadway stage, and that's fine.
It's fine. Just it's in its perfect home.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is our obsessions of the week. That is our thoughts on Tell Tale Harbour, and that's it. So if you want to listen to any other episodes, you can subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment there.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Off to BOA Podcast with a number 2, and on TikTok at Off to Broadway.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.